Welcome everybody, my name is Peter Del Tondo and I am your host this week for the Adobe Daily Creative Challenges. And this week again, we're jumping into Adobe XD and talking about all the cool things that you guys can leverage Adobe XD to do and little cool tips and tricks along the way that are going to speed up your workflow, make you a more efficient designer, and hopefully we'll teach you some cool things about UX and UI design here along the way. So jumping into chat, we've got Wakar. Thank you for joining in every day, man. I know it's, I think you said it's midnight for you to attend these streams, so it means a lot that you're here. We've got Julia, Kirsten, Tim Mobest, and Joss, some of our awesome mentors here for the channel, Samuel and Anna. Thank you all for tuning in and let us know where you guys are from and where you're watching from. All right, so let's jump in. If you have not yet, make sure you join the XD community over on Discord. You can use the link above and check us out. And how you're going to want to use Discord here as we jump in is you're going to want to come in and check out all the different channels. Some of the ones in particular are current challenge. And over here, this is where you're going to submit your Behance or your Adobe XD share link in order to share your design and get feedback. And let us know what it is specifically you guys are looking feedback for. It's a lot more helpful to get some input as to, what exactly you're looking for in your design. So Wakar, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit here. Mention to us like, I'm struggling with this thing, or I'm looking to enhance this, rather than just sharing the link. It'll help everybody and other members of the community give you guys better feedback. So it's really, really helpful. And jump on in there and check out the other challenges, other channels such as Pro Tips and Get Inspired. It's going to be some great stuff for you guys to learn about things like accessibility and 8-point grid systems and typography scales and vertical rhythm and all kinds of cool stuff. If you have not yet signed up for the challenge, you can do so by coming over here to behance.net/challenge/XD, and you can sign up to take the challenges, and each day you'll get the notification of what we're doing. These are all one-off challenges, so you don't need to worry about jumping in late. You can catch up at any time, and you guys can even come down and see some of the past weeks, some of the other fantastic hosts. I know we've had Melody and Sam and Andrea on here recently, so make sure you check out their stuff as well, and just continue learning. It's super fun. And we've got Maryland from Michigan, Croatia, Kuwait. That's fantastic. I love that you guys are showing that. Can you do gradient with a blur? I think we can do some stuff with like kind of a Gaussian blur, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get into that today or in tomorrow's episode. So without further ado, let's jump into today's challenge. So today we are going to be designing a calendar app to manage your design tasks or your schedule. And so we want to be able to utilize Repeat Grid, which in my opinion is maybe one of the most useful and helpful tools in Adobe XD. And it's sitting right up here. We'll get into that in a second. But it's a really great way to quickly build your designs with items that you're going to be very repetitive with and just speed up your workflow. So let's jump in. Again, you can go through and see some points that you can add up and just make a little bit more funnel as you design. And we're going to take a look at some inspiration. And so some things that really stand out to me in calendar designs, I like simplicity. I like either the light or the dark UI backgrounds. Again, I don't like using crazy colors. It just feels complicated or messy, hard on the eyes. We want, from a UX perspective, tying into the UI visuals, we want to have the items on the calendar stand out with interesting colors. We don't necessarily want colors splattered throughout the rest of the design. We want to have the user focused on what we want them to absorb. So if we look here, we see that really a consistent pattern through all of these designs is to utilize these colors for the time blocks throughout the day. And so we can come in and see some different like desktop screens, some mobile, which is what we're going to be working on today, and some additional calendars. And you see different ways. Some do a full color bleed, others do like a bar and then information on the side. So it's really up to you what you might want to build and your personal preference. And what I would recommend is kind of build the app that you would want to use on a daily basis. And it makes things really, really helpful. So we're going to come up here and we're going to start with our calendar. And I'm going to come in. I know I want a 16 pixel margin on each side. So I'm really quickly just going to come in here. I'm going to do, so I got to look around my microphone, minus 32. And I come in, I like to make this stuff just like interesting colors, just so it's a little bit easier for me to see. So I know I've got 343 and I've got 7 days in the week. So I'm going to divide that by 7. And so I get these 49 by, I'm going to use 49 blocks. Within that block, I know I need a couple of things. I want to have some text. So I'm going to have the number. And let's use Poppins here. We can use 14, that's fine. Remember, 14 bold works for accessibility reasons, so that will work here. And let's make a little, maybe like a 6x6 or a 4x4 little dot indicator as well. And I'm going to bring that in here to the center. I'm going to separate these out a tad, and I will center align that. And now I'm not going to want to have this be white because I am going to want to fill this in later. So maybe let's come in and I'm just going to give this like a really light color. And we've kind of got the components now for my whole day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this element. I'm going to hit repeat grid, and now I can quickly and easily create all of the items that I need in my calendar. So I'm going to look at this and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need one more. I'll pull this out a little bit further until I get 7. Okay, and then I'm going to come in, and I actually don't want any space here. So I can change the spacings really easily. I'm going to have that be totally flush. And I'm going to create 2 of these items, actually. I'm going to get rid of, I only need to do it in the one. I'm going to pull this down and have this be in the middle, and I'm going to have this actually be my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I like to start my day off by Monday. It feels like the start of the work week, but I know a lot of calendar apps will let you do it either way. And let's see. Oh yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out yet, definitely check out letsxd.com. Some fantastic content there from Howard Pinsky, the boot man himself. And there's just some great stuff over there. Really kind of all the fundamentals about Adobe XD are there. And it's a great place to start. It's a great place to learn. What is XD most used for certain projects? It's used for UI UX design, building out prototypes. It's fantastic for animation, which we covered a couple of days back, I believe, and would highly recommend you guys check that out. All right, so up top here, I'm actually going to bring this down quite a bit. I want these items to all be quite a bit lighter, and I can come in here. I'm just going to remove that fill. So I've got my top days. And now I want to have the rest of the month here. So I'm going to generally have about 4 to 5 weeks in a month. So I might come down and I'm going to grab all of these elements. And once again, I'm going to have those all sit flush. And let's pull these down a hair, and we can add something here. We probably want it to say something like, let's just say August, since we're in the month of August. And we'll bring that up to maybe 24, left align. And again, don't use like pure black in your designs, use an off color. And I personally like 333, it's just a good go-to. And then we'll also do Nucleo. I'm gonna add a quick icon here. And so this is a great app to quickly search for stuff. So I'm gonna go back. And this is going to give me some arrows. I can come in here and look for a quick back button, and boom, I'm all set. Okay. And then just to be consistent, 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. And then I can add this, and we'll just say maybe like 2009 or 2019. And then we'll bring that down to 16, maybe regular. All right. Cool. So we've got that. We'll pull this down a hair more. Now, I know what you're thinking. You guys really want to watch me type 1 to 30 or 31, whatever it is, for the next like 6 minutes. That sounds super fun, right? Like we're all hyped and excited about it. No. So another cool feature here in Adobe XD is that I can come over here. I'm going to go into some text files that I created. And all I did is open these up and I just typed in, actually, let me pull one of them up on the screen. So I know that it's going to start rolling in from actually the last month, but I just type a new line of text on each line and I can quickly come in here, drop that in, and boom, my whole month is already filled in. So I can now really quickly come in and I might even take a look at this and go, okay, great. Well, now I want to pull in the rest of my month. So I might come in and quickly go, let's pull in September. Let's do September here. And again, I'm just going to open that file back up. I'm going to drop in September at the start and boom, my whole month is filled in and it's going to carry right over from where I left off. So it's a really handy feature. And then what I can do is I'm going to come in, I want to take off the background fill. I don't need that. And what I want these letters and numbers, or these indicators and numbers to showcase is days that have passed, the current day that I maybe selected, or the current day of today, as well as is there any activity that day. So I'll dupe off here just so we can go back to this if we needed to. But I'm going to come over and I'm actually going to ungroup the grid. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to take some stuff off. Like I don't have anything going on the weekends. Actually, that's not true. I have 3 kids. We have a ton going on the weekends. But I'm just going to come in here and kind of randomly pull some items off. I kind of live on my calendar, so it's very rare that something isn't going on. But we're going to showcase here that, you know, today is the 13th and apparently we're not here on the stream. Nothing's happening. But maybe this one here, I'm going to pull this over and I'm just going to duplicate this item, pull this up a little bit behind. And again, we're just going to make this kind of more interesting, give this a color for the day. I'm going to change this text to white and boom, we have a screen showcasing the next 2 months. I might come in here as well and just like quickly grab a lot of these other past dates because they're not really something that I want to draw the user's attention to anymore. And I might just real quickly come in and I'm just going to sync that up to this color. So now it feels like those dates have passed. I'd probably fade them even down further to give some more contrast. But you guys can quickly see how easily this is to build out these components and go from there. And let's add a couple more things so this feels really realistic. Let's do search. And Evan, could you always turn off fill color on some dots or make white? I think you can using components. It gets a little bit trickier and the date import doesn't work as well with that. I was testing that beforehand to confirm. But it would be really great if you could do that. But the way components work are meant to kind of be like master overrides. And so it gets a little complicated with that. But it's still, again, a really helpful way to quickly expedite a few things that you're working on. All right, so I've got these 2 icons now. I'm going to pull these in. All right. And we'll pull these up and over. Cool. All right, so we've got our next screen built out. And again, I need to go through later and modify a few things. And if we have time, we'll fade out some of this text a little bit more. But let's go into maybe what it looks like on the next screen. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to actually modify a few things because I want the animation here to be kind of neat. So I'm going to copy this style. So 16 regular. I'm going to go 16 regular. Oops, I can type regular. And we're just going to move that right up here. I'll delete you. And we'll move this over because afterwards we're going to go back to the whole calendar and we can move this content up something like that. That'll work. Okay, and then let's add just like a little bit of a divider line here. I just feel like that would be helpful in this design. And again, doing things a little bit differently, but I'm trying to work quickly because we've got limited time here on the stream. But ideally, you guys want to make sure you're color matching all the good stuff. But great, so we've now got this laid out. I've got my days of the week, and I probably want to have the text for the week of here as well. So I'm going to grab these. I can get rid of this row here, and I'm just going to pull all of this up. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. Pull this down. I don't think we need to get into the specifics of the indicators at this point because we're just looking at the individual day. And I'll pull that up. Okay, and we can finesse all that stuff later. I might want to simplify some of this, maybe bring down the weights. It feels a little heavy to me as I look at it now. But we are now going to come in and we're going to create our day's timeline. So once again, I'm going to come over here. I'll do 6 a.m. I'm going to have that be right aligned. And I want to make these just a little trick when I was doing this before. I want this to be a little bit longer than it needs to be because some of the times will have double digits, and so it would cut off in my repeat grid group. So I want to have that be consistent. So I'm going to pull one more of these down. I'm just going to resize this way so it's a little bit easier. Bring that over a bit and go back to 1. Okay, great. So now I've got that. Now I also want to create what is a day actually going to look like. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add that fill color again. Let's soften this up. Let's make it friendly. We've got the big bubble up ahead. We've got pop-ins, which is a fun kind of lighthearted typeface. So I'm going to give these a little bit of border radius. I might even come in and we could maybe soften up these colors a little bit. Bring that down a little. But for now, we'll keep this here. We like that strong pink color. And I'm going to drop in some more text. And so I might categorize things. So maybe we'll say things like, this is work related. And I'll come over here. I want this to be nice and bold. Maybe go down to semi-bold. This feels a little chunky. Let's bring this down. This is just a small label, so I'm going to make this tiny. And then I want to say what this is. And again, I'm going to give this a little bit of a text field area because some of these could be really long. So it might be showing the awesome power of repeat grid on Adobe Live. Okay, great. And then let's come in, we'll make this text white. And awesome. And we could even get into things like adding iconography back here or whatnot. And Washington, you hit the nail on the head. It's unfold pink. I'm biased. I like it. All right, so we've got that. And let's see. Cool. So we've got all the components that I know I want now. And I'm going to come in. I might even do, like, we could do one more item over here and say, 1 hour or something like that. Like, we could get into more specifics if we wanted to and showcase a couple of things. So I'm going to grab all of this. I'm going to hit repeat grid. And again, I'm just going to drop all these down, and I'm just going to bring down this spacing here so that, again, it feels, I know that's not completely precise because we didn't measure up some of these, but pretty good. So for the purposes of this demo, we've got that rocking and rolling. I'm going to bring this down a little bit further, and then I can come in here, and again, real quickly, I could either have this stuff prepared, or I can just real quick type a couple of these items. So we've got 9 a.m. I work on East Coast time, so I'm up and working at 6. So this is kind of actually a pretty accurate representation of my day. And now I can come in here, and again, I might go in, because if I change the color here, it's going to change everywhere. So I might come in, I might ungroup that, and then from here I can quickly go in and say, hey, this is, maybe workout. And maybe my workouts have a different color. Like, I don't know, I want them to be green and positive. So I might come in and, pull something a little bit less vibrant. There we go. And then I might have, family break. So let's do family. I'm going to have lunch with my wife and kids. And I might come in here and, you can quickly go in and knock these out. And I'm going to remove a couple of items where maybe I don't have anything. Or maybe this is work and I've got a sales call with a new client. And I want this to be a 30-minute meeting. And so I might come in here and I'm just going to bring this down in size to showcase that. So really quickly, we've been able to, and I mean, under 15 minutes, build out this design. And so what I would love for you guys to do and expand on after this is really think about how to give more life to this design and this concept. So I know we covered some basics here in terms of utilizing Repeat Grid and building upon that, but see what does the process look like when I search for an event? What is the pre-fill state look like? What does it look like before no information has been inputted by the user? What does it look like once results have started to return? What is the process for adding a new event? I'm going to load up, I'm going to click add. It's going to ask me for an event name, a time, a date, a category or calendar that I might like to put it on. How about inviting people? And so you guys can quickly build out from this small little challenge many screens to build out a really nice case study to put on your guys' Behance page or your personal portfolio and share that work. So I'd really encourage you guys to expand and go a bit beyond the challenges here and play with different typography and colors and whatnot here to make this feel like something that you would be excited to use. And I don't know, I live on a block scheduling system, so this is really cool. And hey, Nick Kuda, good to see you, man. We met at a conference, got to have some good sushi a couple months back out in LA. So thanks for tuning in. Always love seeing some familiar faces in here. But let's take a look at some of your guys' challenges. I pulled out a couple that I thought were really fun. And Evan, swipe events to add features. Oh yeah, you could totally do something like that. I won't build it because we're running out of time, but what does it look like if I thumb swipe to the side and maybe can delete or reschedule an event? There's so many cool things that you can do, and you can actually animate that here in Adobe XD. So super neat. All right, so we've got about 2-3 minutes. Let's jump in. Grace, we're going to cruise through these, but a storytelling podcast app targeting children and kids, or children and teens. My kids love this. My daughters listen to like Disney storybooks throughout the day. My daughter's actually next door listening to that during her rest time, so she loves this stuff. I would say be careful of the colors that you're using here, because some of them are really, really stark and hard to see, and I don't think some of those colors would pass accessibility, but you've done a really good job at catering to a younger audience, and I feel like everything from the branding to the colors to the imagery here, it's appealing to kids, and I think it would be pretty easy to use. So really nice job on that. We've got one more. I think this was Aman or Amat in chat, but I thought a nice job here with the animation coming in. We've got a nice simple loader. We fade in. I think the one thing I would really recommend is a little bit more type differentiation. It feels like everything's a bit the same. And I think you could do something more interesting than just throwing like a dark label over this. So I would expand on that, but really nice. And I wanted to say the last thing for today, I love that you guys are thinking outside the box, and instead of doing just directions, you put a video to follow along. And that's the kind of stuff that you want to think through for your users and makes things really, really helpful. So with that, we're going to be signing off for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to stay tuned for more on Adobe Live and all the awesome content that's coming up throughout the rest of the week as well.